Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Grind. With me today, joining me is Juan Adams. Juan the Kraken Adams. Got an upcoming fight against Juan Torres. How are you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling good, and Torres actually pulled, so they're still looking for an opponent right
Oh,
now.
really? Wow, okay. Tapology. I was looking at Tapology. They still have him on there. That's my bad then. Well,
No,
regardless, looking for someone, got upcoming fight. Hopefully it's still on. How's training for you going, man?
it's going great, man. Better than ever. I kept the weight off after the last fight, so just gonna keep grinding and doing what I can, making the weight, and see what there. Hoping they find an opponent quick, but nothing's promised, and that's kind of the tail of the tape with the regional scene.
Right. So I was gonna get into this. What's your diet like, weight cutting wise?
I mean, I just try and keep it, at about 2,600 calories a day right now. What I do is, I have to make sure I get all my macro and micronutrients in, and it's hard to eat all of that in just three big meals because they don't taste very good, um, and two, you kind of have to eat a high volume of normal foods or start taking a bunch of supplements. And all supplements really do for me is make my piss smell funny. So I just
Yeah.
like to spread it out throughout the day. So I'm doing about a gallon and a half to 2 gallons of water a day. Um, I substituted all my flour with spelt flour. Substituted all the sugar with monk fruit. If I need energy throughout the day, it's either a caffeine tablet or a Bang energy drink, and I just go from there.
Gotcha. So this nickname, the Kraken, was there a coach or anyone that gave it to you, or how did that nickname come about? Let me say, it's an excellent nickname. I think it's dope, dude.
My buddy Dallas, actually, he was an older fighter at the gym when I started training, and he gave me that nickname because I always drank the rum. So
Okay.
that's my favorite, one of my favorite liquors. So that's how
Oh,
I got.
dang, that's an awesome nickname, man. I really like the Kraken, drowning your opponents, man.
Yeah.
So when did you describe to me like your martial arts journey, like up to this point, like how you got started and kind of where you got started and things like that.
Yeah, when I knew I was gonna wrestle in college, I ended up doing a all-star wrestling team for the Disney Duels out of Paradigm Training Center, which at the time, their biggest name guys there. They had Jeff Rexroad,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Melanson, Colin Wright, and a few other guys out there, Leroy Vasquez, and just now we've got Sebastian Storm. He's a big heavyweight coming out of there, and then the fight god Dulani Perry
Mm-hmm.
trained out. I mean, those guys were always cool. It was always fun to watch, and I would always kind of help them with their wrestling. When I would come home from college, I needed a place that always had bodies, so I would go there and try and get some wrestling work in. And then I would give all the fighters there, basically just free wrestling lessons. And you know, I graduated college. I wrestled Division One. I graduated from college, and I had already kind of been talking about doing MMA, but I was after wrestling season, man. I got up to like 315 pounds. So I ended up having an NFL tryout. An NFL scout had saw some of my wrestling film. He reached out to my coach. My coach reached out to me, and so I spent the next 6 months training for that. But the whole time I was doing that, I was still coaching wrestling. So I coached wrestling at a high school and a middle school, and I was helping the fighters, with their wrestling. So the NFL thing was going to take me longer than expected. They kind of wanted me to do another year to try and make a practice squad, and I wasn't really feeling that. So I decided to just, lose some weight and start fighting. And that's what we did. We accepted an amateur fight for September and just got to work from there.
So that's yeah. That's got to be kind of. Were you caught off guard at all by hearing from that, or is that something that you've heard happen before? Like getting that NFL call tryout, was that something that surprised you?
It did surprise me, but I had heard of, special projects before. And I really kind of did it more so as like an FU to a lot of my high school teammates that really wanted to be good at that I saw. So
Right.
yeah, I got an NFL tryout and they didn't. It's kind of
So what are some hobbies that you enjoy doing outside of fighting, outside of MMA, something that people may not know about the Kraken?
I play a lot of Pokemon, watch a lot of Disney. I watch a lot of these new Disney Plus original series, and other than that, man, I watch a lot of stuff on spirituality and just cultural awareness, not just for what's happening to minorities, but to people being discriminated against across the world. I spend a lot of my time devoted to just being kind of the best human I can be. Even my job, I work in child healthcare, so that it's something I've always been passionate about. Making the world around me a little bit better. So that's what I focus on, and I find that every time I kind of deviate from that and just kind of become a little hedonist, doing whatever I want to do, life doesn't really work out for me. So it's kind of my own way of staying on the show, and I do thoroughly enjoy, return like giving back and the returns I get from that.
Right, definitely. So how do you, you know, going into fighting and being in a child healthcare is two very different sides of the spectrum. How do you balance kind of being on both, and how do you balance like a busy work schedule with training?
I actually I use my lunch breaks to work, and my job's pretty forgiving because of my position there. I don't necessarily have to be there all the time. I do go in every day, like here and there, and I'm not an hourly employee, so that helps out a lot too. And then I have very understanding coaches out here at Jackson. Greg and Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn, they both work with my schedule a lot. I actually had a session with Coach Wink in about 30 minutes, and then from there I'm going to go for a run. So the biggest thing is all the extra cardio that I miss from going to these classes. I have to make up on my own, and then I have to, whenever I'm done with my work schedule or with whatever I had to do for work that day, then I use that time to kind of just research and look over stuff that I think might be beneficial for my game. And it involves a lot more communication between me and my coaches.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned Jackson Wink. I want to touch on that real quick. Is Jackson Wink the only MMA gym that you've been at, or is there others before?
Oh, there's plenty others before.
Okay.
So at first, I was at a Paradigm Training Center,
Right.
and kind of started transitioning to doing a split camp between them and the Fight Lab in Houston. But I've trained at a bunch of different spots down there, especially down in the Houston area, man. Because it's hard to get a bunch of heavyweights, and so I was traveling a lot. Uh, but yeah, this is the first gym that I've been at where like it's just been as readily available to me as everything else.
Right. So what can you say about Jackson Wink that gym that they do differently, or something that's maybe not better or worse, but just something that's different than other gyms?
One thing is they really focus on mixed martial arts. We don't go to Muay Thai classes here.
Mhm.
We don't do boxing classes here. Everything here you do is geared towards MMA, and it's all the coaches on one page working towards one goal, and that's a comprehensive mixed martial arts program.
Right. And then what is having guys like John Jones and Holly Holm, Michelle Watterson, these elite fighters, does that elevate the intensity there at all, or is it just like they're, like I'm wondering how they treat the superstars, compared to guys who are regional guys or low level UFC guys. What is there any difference there?
Not really. I mean, there's obviously the fanboying. That's typically there for the amateurs. Most of the pros don't act like that. But you know, we you gotta everyone respects everyone here. So there's a mutual respect because all these people are trying to help you get ready for your fight, right? And it's not even like You know, John Jones and I fought on the same card one time, and he had his own training. John always has his own little training schedule, Holly. But Holly's in classes all the time, you know, and it gets to a point where, you know, some of that awestruck, the big bright moon eyes, those go away, and you realize why you're here, you know, and even so between the fan, like the lower level guys and the, you know, super elite people that have been in the big promotions, there's still a respect there between everyone, and a lot of those younger guys or you know, lower level guys that are just starting out or maybe haven't had the exposures everyone else. Yeah, sometimes they come in there a little hungry, but that's their way of testing themselves, right? And as they get better, you get better, so it's a win-win for everyone.
Right. So as we're wrapping up here, I know you got to keep it brief. What is one word that you could use? One word that you would use to describe your fight style?
um
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Aggressive, you know.
Aggressive.
I'm pretty uh you know, I out there and just give it everything I've got. I go forward, you know, it's not a lot of backwards movement. My goal simply is, you know, just I want to go out there and hit and not get hit. When I start getting much, I try and take somebody down, and you know, it's worked out all right for me so far. You know, I lost 3 fights, but I also won 10. So I won
Right.
4 and 6 pro. So I win. It works a lot more often than it doesn't. So
Definitely, man. Hey, well, thank you for taking the time again. I know you're a very busy man. Whatever happens in this upcoming bout, if you find someone, if you don't, replacement, whatever happens, we wish you the best, man. Big fans here. And again, brother, thank you for taking the time.
no problem, man. Have a good one.
You too.